I'm Julie Barkey with this Senate update. An issue that comes up just about every legislative session surfaced on the Senate floor on Friday during discussion of the Omnibus Health and Human Services Finance Bill. The issue, licensing abortion clinics that perform 10 or more of them a year. Here's that amendment from the Senate floor.
Subdivision 1 requires the licensing of a facility that does 10 or more abortions. Subdivision 2 requires inspections no more than 2 times a year of the clinics. Subdivision 3 is the license fee. Subdivision 4 allows the commissioner to refuse to renew or suspend and issue the license. Subdivision 5 is a hearing in the case of a suspension, so the clinic would have the ability to ask for a hearing. And Subdivision 6 is a severability clause. And finally, there's the language regarding how it deals with the special revenue fund appropriation. And Madam President and members, this really is, it's a simple bill. It's common sense that the state of Minnesota has an interest in licensing these clinics. So many times an abortion is referred to as a medical procedure, and we do license, the state of Minnesota does license outpatient surgical centers, and they are very similar. And I do think that we need to make sure that these clinics are clean and taken care of. There's obviously many times that we've heard about in other states the horrors that have gone on in some of these clinics, and I think the state of Minnesota and the people deserve to have these licensed and inspected. And I would ask for a green vote on this amendment.
Roll call has been requested. Roll call granted. Is there any discussion on the A46 amendment? Senator Laurie.
Madam President, I rise in opposition to the A46 amendment. Senator Fischbach is correct. We've been through this many times on the Senate floor. I have a veto letter from the governor from a couple of years ago when the legislature sent this to the governor. And I'll just read a couple of sections from this. This bill would impose extensive new licensure requirements on clinics which provide 10 or more abortions per month. I think that's still the same frame that this is. The legislation applies the existing rules for outpatient surgical centers to those targeted clinics. And MDH has informed us that this method of licensure is inappropriate and unworkable. These clinics are very different from surgical centers. New in this bill, apparently, to remove the fact that it would otherwise cost and be out of order, is this licensure fee of $10,000 per year for these clinics. There's about 1,250 clinics in Minnesota, and despite not needing a specific state license, that's all clinics. They are already subject to significant oversight. Nurses and physicians are licensed under their respective health licensing boards, which enforce standards of practice under the Board of Medical Practice and the Board of Nursing. Federal CLIA sets requirements for laboratories. OSHA requirements must be met for building codes, life safety, and fire and safety. This bill is not necessary. It's intended to single out one type of service and make it more difficult to provide that service, and I would urge members to vote no on the A46 amendment.
Is there any more discussion on the A46 amendment? Senator Fischbach.
Madam President, I'd just like to comment. You know, the license fee is what we were given in the fiscal note. We would have liked to have made it less expensive, but that is what the fiscal note came back with, and so that's what we went with. And as for making it burdensome on the clinics, I think that the clinics should be up to standards and it shouldn't be a problem. I think, like I said, the state of Minnesota does have an interest in licensing these clinics and seeing what's going on inside and if there are any kind of health violations that need to be dealt with. I don't think it is that burdensome to ask that these clinics be inspected and licensed. Please vote green.
Is there any more discussion on the A46 amendment? Senator Benson.
Thank you, Madam President. And just a reminder to members, we do license birth centers. So women who choose to have their children outside a hospital are actually given a better quality of care than women who choose to have abortions in Minnesota. This is very simple. We license birth centers even though they have to comply with OSHA, and their nurses are licensed, and their doctors have to be certified under the Board of Medical Practice. All of the arguments Senator Laurie presented against this amendment, we apply to birthing centers. And birth is a very natural process. One cannot argue that abortion is a natural process. That gives us a greater stake in abortion clinics. This is a green vote, members.